If there's one thing this movie does well, is its title, Maze Runner. Runner really describes what this movie is all about. So The Maze Runner: The Scorch Trials, directed by Wes Ball and stars Dylan O'Brien and the returning cast of the first Maze Runner movie. So this movie begins right where the last one left off, and the group from the last film is taken to a facility secured from the outside world. However, this place isn't what it seems, and our heroes go on the run and have to survive the scorch, and all the while searching for the right hand. So I didn't see the last Maze Runner, so I was a little confused at the beginning of this film, but I was able to figure out what was going on from the bits and pieces they gave you from the last film, and I was able to do it fairly quickly. So the movie did that pretty well. And I liked a handful of things about this movie. I was pleasantly surprised about the acting in this film. I mean, Dylan O'Brien was very good, and as well as the supporting cast, everybody really plays their character very well. And again, I didn't see the first Maze Runner, and I don't know if it was the same thing. And Aidan Gillen does a decent job as, the sort of the main baddie in this film. But, I can only see him as Littlefinger from Game of Thrones. But, that's my issue. But, again, he did pretty well as the bad guy in this film. And I like the look of this film. The cinematography is probably my favorite part about this film. The whole teen novel genre can sort of become kind of Twilight-ish. But this movie didn't feel like that at all. The shots seemed very well planned out, very well constructed, so that was the cinematography was easily my favorite part of this film. And this movie has a number of well done action chase scenes. There's a little bit of shaky cam, but I think this movie is an example of how to use shaky cam to your advantage, sort of amp up the scenes a little bit. So it did that pretty well. But aside from that, this movie is kind of basic. There wasn't anything in this film that seemed new to me. I felt like I've seen a lot of this stuff before. The movie is basically our heroes running from Gillen and his task force and a bunch of plant zombies. It's a ton of running. Like I said in the opening of this video, Runner is a really apt description of this movie because there is a lot of running in this movie. And it just felt like this movie just took everything you've ever seen in a zombie movie and just repackaged it and then slapped a new title on the poster. Basically, everything that happens in this movie you've seen before, and it just wasn't new. And then there's this psychedelic club party scene in the middle of the film that feels really out of place. I was a little confused why this was in the movie. I mean, I could see where it kind of had a little of a plot point to it because all the characters have their memory erased, I figured out through the course of the film, and it's just their way of bringing O'Brien's character out of his memory loss, and you see a little bit of a flashback during that scene. So I could see why they did it, but the scene itself felt very misplaced. There's a tiny bit of potential in this film. They had this whole subtext of the ends justify the means kind of thing, and it kind of pitted characters against each other in the movie. And I thought that was a really great concept, but they didn't run with it. It happens a couple of times in the film, and it didn't focus in on that. And I thought that would have been a great tone to set for the film. And then I had this whole big issue with Ava Page's character. I mean, she's supposed to be the big ultimate bad person that's running the organization, that's taking all these kids and putting them through the maze and doing all these things to them. I like villains that I can relate to. The villains that think they're doing good, and your whole point of view on what they're doing, it just ends up being bad. But I like the whole ambiguity between she's doing a lot of bad things, but ultimately it's for the greater good. And I like that whole I know she's doing a lot of bad stuff, but I can see why she's doing it. As a whole, the well-being of the few outweighs the well-being of the many. I think I might have gotten that saying wrong, but whatever, you know what I mean. Again, I was liking that concept. I was oh man, could be a villain that I could get behind. But then, minor spoilers here, very minor spoilers. I'm gonna put text here that says spoiler alert. There's this other doctor that's basically trying to find the same cure for, I think it's called the flare. It's basically a zombie virus, and she thinks the exact opposite. And it's basically a good portion of the youth in this world are immune to this virus, and they sort of harvest sort of a cure out of them, but they can't manufacture this cure. They just keep harvesting it. This other doctor doesn't like that, so she goes on a rebellion against her. But then near the end of the film, they cross paths again, and Ava Page's character has this other doctor killed, and it's basically giving you a reason to okay, she's bad. You didn't need a reason to not like this person already. She's killing a lot of kids, and like, you know, yeah, she's doing it for the greater good, but she's sacrificing a lot of children and a lot of youth in this world. And that should be enough for you to not like this person and recognize her as the main bad guy. Just to be sure you know she's a bad guy, we're gonna kill this person right in front of her for no apparent reason. That was probably my biggest gripe about that scene, was there's no reason for her to kill her. I don't know if seeing the first movie would have helped this for me at all, but I don't get the world that they're trying to set up in this film. I get the fact that, like, yeah, the cure's in the youth and we gotta harvest from the youth, and like putting them in stressful situations sort of like amps up their immunity for some reason, and from that they get a more viable cure from them. That part I get, but what I don't get is, why are you putting them in this gigantic maze that you're, you know, spending all your resources on? And rather than spending more of your resources on other things that can really use your attention, let's build this giant maze and put all our kids in it. And it's like, you can't figure out a different way to challenge them, you know, mentally and physically. You gotta waste all your time and efforts on this stupid maze. I just don't get it. And to those of you that are a fan of this book series, and I know what you're gonna be thinking, you're like, hey, if you read the books, you'll understand it better. And my answer to that is, no, I don't. I shouldn't have to read the book to go into this film. Because if you're like me, I don't read a whole lot. That's not my thing. I like to watch movies. The movie should be able to stand on its own, and it just doesn't do that. And for that reason, I have to give The Maze Runner: The Scorch Trials a meh. So The Maze Runner: The Scorch Trials. Have you seen it? What did you think about it? Leave a comment below, tell me your thoughts. Don't forget to hit that like button below, help me out please. And if you haven't already, please subscribe. And as always, thank you so much for watching. If you like this, you can click right here and see more videos. Bye, Andrew.